man. The great man that said this quote also said this: "America is never wholly herself unless she is engaged in high moral principle. We as a people have such a purpose today. It is to make kinder the face of the nation and gentler the face of the world." The great man who said this was George Herbert Walker Bush. George H.W. Bush, today I'm going to be honoring him for his political achievements, his life accomplishments, and his impact on society. The sources I used were bradyquote.com, biography.com, bushlibrary.tmu.edu, whitehouse.gov, history.com, an article from Fox News, an article from Washington Post, and foundationcenter.org. We don't want an America that is closed to the world. What we want is a world that is open to America. George H.W. Bush started out his successful political career by serving 2 terms in the House of Representatives for Texas. He then was unsuccessful in trying to get into the Senate twice, but he kept on going and he eventually became the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. He was also the Director of the Central Intelligence Agency for a long time. He also was the U.S. Liaison to the People's Republic of China and a few more high-level positions. But then he decided he wanted to run for president, but he lost the Republican nomination to Ronald Reagan. But Ronald Reagan chose him as his running mate, and he was the 2-time vice president for Ronald Reagan. And then in 1988, he had his chance. He got the Republican nomination and the presidency, and he was the 41st president of the United States. What's wrong with being a boring kind of guy? George H.W. Bush was anything but a boring man. His life achievements began at a very early age. After he attended school all the way through high school, he enlisted in the military because of Pearl Harbor, and he was the youngest pilot in the Navy in World War II. He served and he did very well, and he got the Distinguished Flyer Cross. Then he married Barbara Pierce, and together they had 6 children. He then went back to school and he graduated from Yale University with a degree in economics. He then moved his family to Midland, Texas, and he became very successful in the oil and petroleum industry. Now he has one of the 10 presidential libraries in the nation, George Bush Presidential Library, at Texas A&M University in College Station, Texas. It houses over 8 million documents that record his life as the 41st president. Then also, recently, he was given the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest civilian honor. He got this from President Barack Obama for his government and military service, and also his relief efforts for the Hurricane Katrina victims. We are a nation of communities, a brilliant diversity spread like stars, like 1,000 points of light in a broad and peaceful sky. While George H.W. Bush was president, he said this quote in his inaugural address, and through his presidency he created the Points of Light Foundation, which is a charitable organization that promotes volunteerism. He said that the communities in the nation were like little points of light, and if everyone served together, we could do great things. He has given over 5,000 Points of Light awards to different communities and different volunteers for their service projects. Bush also partnered up with former President Clinton, and they created the Bush-Clinton-Katrina Fund that raised over $90 million for the relief efforts and the victims of Hurricane Katrina. Also, very recently, George H.W. Bush shaved his head for a little boy with leukemia. This little boy is the son of one of his Secret Service agents, and this is very close to home for George H.W. Bush because his daughter, Robin Bush, died at 4 years old of leukemia almost 60 years ago. I will keep America moving forward, always forward, for a better America, for an endless, enduring dream, and 1,000 points of light. This is my mission, and I will complete it. George Herbert Walker Bush, a great man, a political leader, and a humanitarian.
Clap.
And done.